Welcome to this explainer. We're right in the middle of a massive global shift toward electric vehicles. But, to truly understand if this electrified future is actually viable, we've got to untangle the incredibly complex, high-stakes system of the batteries powering them. Because right now, there's a major hidden cost. So let's just shatter a major illusion right off the bat. Our clean energy goals currently rely entirely on a highly vulnerable, totally resource-intensive linear pipeline. We are essentially trying to power a modern zero-emission revolution using a really dirty traditional supply chain. Extracting virgin materials from the earth, using them once, and eventually just tossing them away. And listen, the pressure on this pipeline is literally about to explode. Global demand for batteries is set to multiply by a staggering 14 times by the year 2030. Think about that for a second. This clean energy paradox is rapidly escalating into a global crisis simply because we cannot mine our way out of a demand curve that steep. The math just doesn't work out.
Okay, so to secure our energy future, let's map out the anatomy of our current supply constraints.
Look at how fragile this linear pipeline actually is. Specific regions completely dominate the flow of this technology. Take cell manufacturing, for example. Asia currently controls a massive 88% of the global market. That means vast portions of the world are entirely dependent on importing these finished energy storage components. And it gets trickier when we look at the actual metallurgy of these batteries. They rely heavily on critical raw materials, specifically cobalt, lithium, and nickel. When you measure their economic importance against their global supply risk, these crucial elements sit right in the danger zone. They are the absolute lifeblood of electric mobility, but their extraction is concentrated in some highly volatile regions. This perfectly illustrates just how staggering that risk is. 51% of the world's global cobalt production comes from just one single location, the Democratic Republic of Congo. When over half of a globally critical resource is tied to just one origin point, any disruption at all, whether political, economic, or logistical, sends immediate shockwaves through the entire electric vehicle market. So how do we achieve true resource security? Well, we absolutely must undergo a massive paradigm shift. We have to move away from that fragile pipeline toward a self-sustaining circular loop. We essentially need to bend that linear supply chain until the ends meet. And that is exactly where the closed-loop system comes in. It uses 4 logical steps to transform an exhausted battery from a piece of waste right back into a strategic resource. It moves from the initial EV use straight into a second life repurposing phase, down into advanced recycling, until we finally extract secondary raw materials to feed right back into the manufacturing floor. Let's dive into the first major intervention in this loop. The second life strategy. This completely redefines what end of life actually means. You see, when an EV battery degrades to about 70 or 80% of its original capacity, it really can't power a car efficiently anymore. But, and this is crucial, it is far from dead. Sure, the vehicle loses range and performance, but that battery still holds a massive amount of chemical energy storage capability. We can actually take these batteries and remanufacture them for stationary storage on the power grid. They are the perfect solution for intermittent renewables. Because solar and wind only generate power sometimes, these second-life batteries can store that green energy and release it exactly when the grid needs it. In fact, projections suggest 27% of these batteries will enter stationary storage by 2025. But, of course, even second-life batteries eventually reach their physical limits. And that brings us to the next phase. Advanced recycling. This is where we essentially start mining our own waste. By using advanced hydrometallurgical recycling, we don't just recover the metals. We can actually reduce the battery's overall carbon footprint by up to 16% compared to default recycling processes. So the methodology we use here is absolutely critical. It's not just about getting the metals back, it's about doing it in a way that actively shrinks the environmental impact of the whole shebang. To put that into perspective, for every single kilogram of battery we recycle, 1 kilogram of carbon dioxide is mitigated. And remelting the secondary aluminum casing, that requires a mere 5% of the energy needed for virgin production. Beyond the huge energy savings, this process fundamentally retains those critical materials, the cobalt, lithium, and nickel, inside the domestic economy. You are basically creating a domestic mine that never, ever depletes. But scaling this entire infrastructure, it requires powerful system architects, which brings us to the strategic horizon of global policy. Take the EU's new batteries regulation from August 2023, for example. It is driving this transition by enforcing what's called extended producer responsibility. This essentially makes the manufacturers responsible for the battery's entire life cycle, right to the very end. By mandating these strict recycling efficiency targets, they're ensuring valuable components aren't just thrown away. They're using regulation to secure regional strategic autonomy in a highly volatile world.
So, as millions of electric vehicle batteries reach the end of their first life over the coming decade, we really have to ask ourselves, are we looking at a looming electronic waste management problem, or are we actually looking at our most vital strategic energy reserves for the future? The shift to a circular system isn't just some ecological ideal. It's the fundamental architecture we need for a secure, electrified future. Thanks for joining me in this explainer, and I hope this leaves you with a lot to think about.